Gentlemen, I'm Dr. Meena Ramaswamy, an academician, a social science researcher, representing an NGO from India called Training and Research Institute for Societal and Humanitarian Aspects, TRISHA. This organization, since its inception in 2006, has been actively and aggressively addressing socially relevant issues pertaining to gender equity, anti-discrimination, cross-cultural management, and so on. Today, in fact, I'm a bit disappointed because two of my colleagues, Dr. Baiju and Mr. Manikandan, they were supposed to be here, faced last-minute visa issues and they couldn't be here. However, I am happy to be in front of you all, and let's move on to the subject. Before that, I would like to tell today's presentation, I would like to make it more informative and awareness-oriented because the topic is such. Moving on to the topic. During my childhood days in India, I have seen numerous transgender individuals. The sight used to be fascinating, yet perplexing. This was mainly because they used to get invitation for almost all auspicious events like weddings, birthday parties, baby showers, and would come and bestow their blessing upon us, simultaneously resorting to begging on the streets. This paradoxical treatment has always left me contemplative, questioning the intricacies between this adoration and aversion. Let me substantiate this with a quick video. Why this is not going down? I'm sorry. Can somebody help me with the... Yeah, that's what I did. It was coming well. Yeah, I guess it would be okay now. Yeah. Yeah, fine. They used to get invitation everywhere.
डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, भेदभाव। जैसे ने बताया कि लोग अच्छे से पेश नहीं आते, ठीक से बात नहीं करते। यहाँ तक कि डॉक्टर के पास भी जाओ तो वो भी दूर से ही दुआ सलाम करके दवाई लिख देता है। बस में जाओ तो लोग छी करके अपनी सीट से उठकर कहीं दूर बैठ जाते हैं। कहीं पार्क में गए तो लोग देखकर मुंह मोड़ लेते हैं। Something you would like to say to them? Please don't treat badly, ma'am. They are also human beings now. That's right. Please treat like sister, like mother, like everything. But try to understand our problem also. Thank you so much.
So over the past few years, more than 3 years, our team has been actively trying to address issues pertaining to the employability of transgender individuals in India, particularly through the lens of transmisia, transphobia, and trans prejudice. In 2023, we visited Japan and presented a paper on transmisia, the hatred. And in fact, I'm happy to say that we were honored with the Best Paper Award there. And we also got chance to publish in Scopus Index journals. And last year, 2024, we visited the University of Madrid, Spain, and presented a paper on transphobia. And we were trying to understand how group work strategies would mitigate phobia or fear. This year, we decided to extend our research to explore within the university campuses in India and university-affiliated colleges to understand the employability issues in connection with trans prejudice. Why these organizations or institutions are not able to provide equitable employment to transgender individuals. For this question, the answers we received were pretty alarming. Students are skeptical. Students are scared of transgender individuals. Parents are skeptical, and society won't accept. Co-workers would be uncomfortable. So what we get to understand is these concepts, they represent a different layer of bias. And with 1.4 billion people, a country like India, They coexist in one form or other. Sometimes it could be silent fear or open hostility or sheer discrimination, systemic exclusion. That's it. So, what we try to understand with our title is how transformative policies, okay, or and social tolerance can act as moderators on the impact of trans prejudice on job prospects of transgender individuals within university campuses and university affiliated colleges, higher education institutions. So the respondents for the study were principals, managers, and academic department heads. What we are trying to do with all these studies finally to provide ethical workspace and an egalitarian society for Indian Hijras. Indian Hijras, let me quickly walk you through the transgender culture in India. When you look at the historical roots, transgender identity dates back to time antiquity in India because our great epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, respectfully acknowledge the existence of transgender individuals. Based on the region you are from, they are called by different names in India. In north and west, they are called as Hijra. Some people pronounce it as Hijra as well. Kinnar, South India, Aravani, Koti, Shiv Shakti. Shiv Shakti represents like Lord Shiv, represents the masculine side of them, and Shakti, his wife, represents the feminine side of them. And the common usage is Hijra. Some old Indian manuscripts, particularly from the colonial era, precisely translate Hijra as eunuch, but this translation may not be accurate, mainly because as per literature, eunuchs were castrated men working in the royal households protecting women. If this subject raises more curiosity, I would suggest this book by Jessica Hinchey from 2019 Cambridge Press. Is a very good read and gives powerful knowledge about transgender history in India, especially from the colonial era. Moving further, India has 4,88,000 transgender citizens as per census 2011. Supreme Court of India legally recognized their identity in 2014, and Transgender Protection Act was passed in 2019. However, despite of all this, they are viewed with a dualistic approach. As I initially said, India stands 51st in the social acceptance index. Their literacy is at 46%, employment is as low as 6%. And the problems are humongous, like discrimination in education, health, employment, housing, unethical hiring practices, workplace harassment, homelessness, poverty, begging, forced sex, anxiety, depression, suicide, and the list goes on. Let me quickly share a few real-time stories as anecdotal evidence. A talented radio jockey, trans woman, committed suicide in 2021 due to depression because of medical negligence, because the doctor felt it's not very important to do much for them. And a trans woman was brutally raped by two policemen in the national capital in Delhi. When lawmakers turn to lawbreakers, a 16-year queer artist committed suicide because she received 4,008 comments on her Instagram reel. The next one is kind of a success story, but then there is a struggle. A trans woman was bullied throughout her school, and law school days decided to pursue legal career. In fact, she is the first transgender lawyer from the state I come from, called Kerala. She was bullied even in the courtroom, and she's fighting for the justice. The next is a trans woman teacher who was very talented, appointed by the school, was asked to hide her identity. When the students found out, they complained to the management, they complained to the parents, and the school asked her to resign. Immediately, she became an inefficient teacher. And the list again goes on. Let me walk you through some global scenarios. I have many more in my final paper. It's very difficult to put it in a presentation. As per United States Transgender Survey, 51% of them face violence and harassment there. In Cambodia, finding employment stood at 31.5, sexual harassment 39.5%, 51.6% were forced to have sex. In China, suicide ideation was pretty high, 56.4. suicide attempts 16.1, Australia, unemployment is very high, depression is at 73%, self-harming tendencies at 63%, suicide attempts at 43%. Let me tell you these issues there across the globe. Magnitude may differ. For example, like a country like Canada is more progressive as far as LGBTQ rights are concerned. So the purpose of our study was to basically identify, as I already mentioned during my title explanation, to understand trans prejudice and its impact on job prospects, and to see a little bit of social tolerance, acceptance, and anti-discriminatory policies can act as moderator on that. So based on all the literature review, we set our hypothesis, outlined the relationship between the variables. I don't want to go in depth with analysis in interest of time. However, would give you a brief outline. So after setting up our hypothesis, we took all the measurement instruments like tested scales and ensured the reliability and validity of our scales, and went ahead with the data collection. So for the secondary data, of course, like all the journals were referred, national, international organization like American Psychological Association. Based on transgender population concentration by Census 2011, I mentioned in the beginning itself, Census 2021 yet not out. So based on that, we took top 10 states and picked a few. That is like Uttar Pradesh is in fact number 1 still, Maharashtra, maximum transgenders over there. West Bengal came in number 5, Andhra Pradesh number 3, and Tamil Nadu number 7, the top. So that they are like top 7 states. So you can see it in the, like, almost Uttar Pradesh is northeast, then you have got center west, east, and to southern as well. So as I mentioned, like, the research is going, it will continue. Like we distributed around 800 questionnaires and 523 we received, but then we had to reject some inadequate information. Out of 421, we ensured that we were either able to contact them over phone, for 144, few of them we met them in person to get, because we mixed it as a qualitative, quantitative research. Like, we wanted to understand their perception by their language, what they're going to explain. And we received the maximum answers from Uttar Pradesh and followed by Andhra Pradesh. So this is a self-funded project. So we had issues with time and cost, so we used purposive sampling, and also considering the so SPSS IBM software was used for reliability validity testing, and Smart PLS was used for hypothesis and moderation analysis. Going further, looking at the key findings, you can see, the beta values and p values, they fell within the accepted parameters. So the hypotheses were accepted, which shows, yes, there is indeed a trans prejudice issue in the organization, and that can impact the job prospects of transgender individuals. But with certain policy changes within the organization or within the institutions, and if we can take a bit of social tolerance, some kind of social community programs, definitely that can be changed. So we would like to discuss a couple of things here. One, from the social psychology angle, to understand the social tolerance, and to understand the higher end discrimination, and all from the business ethics lens. Who wouldn't want to get accepted? We are all social beings. So acceptance is sweet and rejection is bitter. So that shows human craving for need to belong, and also suggests Abraham Maslow's social needs. We all want to be included. Same thing, hiring discrimination and workplace harassment, clear infringement of human rights. Hence, it is unethical. I would like to quote Canada's amended Human Rights Bill 2016. They amended it. The Bill C-16 very clearly indicates discrimination based on gender identity and gender expression is prohibited. Okay, I appreciate Canada for doing certain things like that. Anyways, so implication, of course, has for all four pillars of democracy: legislature, executive, judiciary, and press. Legal recognition of gender identity, judiciary can ensure that certain countries it is still illegal. In India itself, like, it took like so many years. In 2014, they legalized it. And policymakers can ensure anti-discrimination policies, legal measures. Employers of both private sectors and government sectors can improve on their inclusive HR policies. Healthcare providers try to understand this and definitely provide better access to gender affirming surgeries, hormone therapies. Let's look at what as part of corporate social responsibilities, organizations can do, NGOs can do. They can provide definitely as part of their CSR better financial aid, financial assistance for all this support. And social activists are there, campaigners are there. They can represent for reservations, quotas, and gender neutral washrooms. That's a major problem there. A lot of crimes happen in the washrooms, right? Ultimately, what I would like to tell is the entire society has to walk hand in hand to truly achieve an egalitarian society. It's not restricted to no studies come without limitations. So definitely, we also, time and cost were a major problem. So we had to confine to 5 Indian states. And of course, this is an Indian scenario study, may not applicable entirely to the other countries and cultures. And this is study pertaining to higher education institutions. So maybe it may be different in service or business industries. Of course, as a cross-sectional design, a longitudinal study would give information or the perspectives of people based on over a time, like especially after introducing one policy, what change that can be recorded with a longitudinal study. So there is scope. We are going to take it up. Okay, and within India, in comparison with India and other countries, so many variables can be taken, like, body shaming, microaggressions. People may not show it, but yet it is there. Okay, microaggressions, mental well-beings, suicide ideation, so many things like that. Okay, we would definitely like to thank people who supported us, the organizations, and the Sahodaran community, transgender community, for last 4 5 years. Like, they've been kind of supporting us, and of course, family, friends, CSSE for accepting this paper, George Brown for giving this opportunity. Last but not least, special thanks goes to Miss Harimiri. I'll tell you the reason. This professor. We work with students of rural schools and colleges. A few of our students, with all their limitation, they met this Hindi professor, Miss Harimiri, and used their mobile camera and made a documentary of her life with her permission. So I would like to present it here. I will come this side so that to get a good view.
Rural part of Kerala, state India, presents a brief narrative documentary about the life of Hindi professor Henry, who has been dedicated to teaching for the past 20 years at various schools and colleges. I just didn't feel right in who I was. I really thought, am I in the right body? Each person's transition is unique. There are some people for whom transition is about changing their name, their haircut, and their clothing, and that's it. They do not want or need access to hormones or surgeries. For other people, a broad range of hormones and surgeries are really essential to a decent livable life. Acceptance in their community and family can be an uphill battle, leading to feelings of rejection and serious mental health struggles. Schools, where acceptance should be fostered, can become a battleground with harassment and a lack of support. So, can you overcome these challenges? Well, yes, you can. Seek support from trusted friends and family.
സുപ്രീം കോടതി നിയമം വന്നു എന്നതുകൊണ്ട് സമൂഹത്തിൽ യാതൊരു മാറ്റം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. ആ നിയമത്തിനെ ശക്തമാക്കി നടപ്പിലാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അതാത് ഭരണകൂടങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറായി നമുക്ക് ഇനി ഇറങ്ങിയെങ്കിലും നടക്കാൻ പറ്റണം. ഇപ്പൊ സുപ്രീം കോടതി വിധി വന്നു എന്നതുകൊണ്ട് ഇവിടെ കാര്യമായ മാറ്റങ്ങളൊന്നും മാറിയില്ല. കോളേജിലെ കുട്ടികൾ തന്നെ അനുഭവിച്ചു, ഫ്രാൻസിന്റെ സൗദാൻ അനുഭവിച്ചു, പലതരത്തിലുള്ള നേരിടേണ്ടതായി വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. യൂറിൽ പോകുന്ന തന്നെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. യൂറിൻ ഇല്ലാത്തതിന്റെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ അത് പരിഹരിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ പ്രശ്നമാണ്.
Let's understand, to achieve genuine social justice, action oriented approaches required. So, what we try to do, we visit rural schools and colleges and try to inculcate the sense of equity among them. By involving, we make we make them do a lot of activities. We conduct candlelight vigils. We felicitate accomplished transgender individuals. We hold placard campaigns. We even conduct pride parades. Pride parades, talking about, like, if you look at Google and if you search, you may see that you may see pride parades somewhere here and there, maybe in urban parts, urban cities. India. That's it. So we try to even conduct that in rural areas. So ultimately, for me or for our team, equity for transgender individuals is not just inclusion. It's not at all just inclusion. It represents three major R's: restoring their dignity. It's not inclusion at all. Restoring their dignity, rewriting the narratives, and reshaping a world where everyone truly belongs. On that note, thank you, everybody.
We're at 25 minutes, so maybe while I'm setting up, you can take a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions?
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna need help setting up, so I have a USB, so someone was helping me earlier. Thank you so much. So, no, I'm gonna just use the USB, it's already in there.
Hmm? Rhonda?